to India, where Rajan Singh Kapur is the managing director of the West Bengal Transport Corporation, which is a public bus company. Rajan, I assume you're more focusing on city lines, but you have other activities as well. You're the managing director there. What's the situation in Calcutta? And what are the digital tools you have in-house? I understood that with the help of the World Bank, you've been able to implement one very specific tool that in this period of COVID seems to be very efficient. Thanks for being with us.
Well, thank you, Jan, and thank you, Busworld Academy. Kolkata, earlier known as Calcutta, is a city of joy. You know, people love to travel. They love to shop. They love to eat out. They love to go. It's a city which is always moving and modeled on the city of London. You know, it's a very active and very vibrant city. So transport in Calcutta, you know, earlier it was Calcutta, has been a breakthrough for Asia and for the world since the 19th century. So it's the buses now that we're talking about, but it was the trams way back in 1873 which started in Calcutta, which was pretty much the same time with most of the, most important cities in the world. And the corporation that I'm the MD of is basically tracing roots from 1880. The original company was formed in London, and now we've merged all the state transport undertakings into the West Bengal Transport Corporation. Coming to your question, Jan, as to what interesting is happening. So let me tell you, before we start my presentation, for people who are not attuned to this part of the world, just imagine a few years before we started this digitalization, how would anybody travel? So let's assume I have to travel from certain point A to B in Calcutta. What would I be doing? I would simply be just looking at my watch. Okay, it's 8 a.m., 10 minutes to 8. I'll walk to the bus stop. There is no idea when the bus will come. Mind you, there is no app, there is no technology, there is nothing. All that you've got is a phone number on the internet, which most of the times you might not even pick up in the morning. And you have a schedule which is not practically followed perfectly because of XYZ reasons, because you have to understand, when I don't monitor technologically, my staff also can become lackadaisical. The driver can be half an hour late and I don't know if he's late because I'm handling a corporation which is running the tramways, which is running the ferries, which is running the waterways, which is running the entire bus in the city, as well as long distance buses. So for me to monitor which bus is late, which bus is early, how many buses are there on a particular route is practically impossible. All right. So you have to understand, I think the first thing which Hans and you guys started was user experience. Now, the user experience for an average Kolkatan was this. You want to go for a bus, you'd never know when the bus will come. You might see 3 buses are coming at the same time. You might have to wait for 1 hour, there's no bus. You might get into a private bus, which is fully, filled up. People are standing, but you have no space because you don't know when the next bus is coming. You got into a bus, which is people are standing and hanging, and 1 minute later, you have a bus which is coming. So people were clueless. And this was really, you can imagine, I don't know whether you can imagine, but this was quite a bad experience. Forget about loyalty. It was more about a basic need. I got to go to my office, so I got to do it. I also have to keep a tab on the time, right, Jan? So, yeah. So, this was the user experience we were giving to the people in a city which is one of the biggest cities in the world. And come this app, now this is not no normal app. Pathadisha is the name. I'll say PD for, quick reference. The name is Pathadisha, but I'll be saying PD in the presentation. Now, when PD came into picture, the entire scene has changed. And let me tell you, now what the user has to do is, I'll just show it to you. I've given you what exactly it was like. Now I'll tell you what it looks like. Next slide, please. So all of you can see on the screen that for any commuter now in Calcutta, this is what traveling in the government buses looks like. It might look very simple and very taken for granted thing in a city like London or New York, but mind you, a few years back, we didn't have this. Now, the first picture on the screen tells you how you can see which buses are there running on the city at the same time. You can zoom in and you can check out which bus is nearest to you. So it's as simple as that. The second picture tells you the exact route that you'll be following. So you can see the expected time of arrival, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. So even if the driver is late, he's not going to be late by more than 5 minutes because it's all GPS. And there's not going to be a delay, but even if there's something, there's some glitch, it's not going to be more than a few minutes because you get a, GPS oriented tagging for the buses 24/7. The third screen also shows how we've been able to also extend this to waterways. Now, the next step is trams. So, you can just imagine how we've been able to change the user experience and obviously loyalty factor. And here I must thank the World Bank, especially Rakhi Basu, the transport specialist who helped us through and through with this, and the team of ideation, Sanjoy Chatterjee and his lovely team who have helped us curate this particular thing. I also thank my officer, Prantosh Deb, who has been working tirelessly on this presentation and this particular technology. We get to speak because we are at the top of the hierarchy, but these are the people who do the real work. So thank you, guys. Next slide, please. Kolkata, let me tell you, friends, is the first city in India to share real-time data with Google and innovative startups. So we said, our government of West Bengal said, why to have a closed policy? Let us just be open. Let us share our data. Now, we have an MOU with Google. So Jan, you can go on Google and you can type any route and you can see where the bus is. So even if you don't have our app, I'm not forcing you to download my app, You go to Google, you can see where my buses are. We have a complete integration with Google. So, and it is the only city in India. I mean, I've just heard 1 or 2 more cities are trying, but we are right now the only and the first city in India. Next, please. Well, how did we achieve this excellence? Let me tell you. We did this with a few parameters, which I'm going to tell you. First was route creation and management. So once we were digitizing the entire transport of Calcutta, we created routes on the street view maps, and we had to manage everything because see, routes were not there on technology. So our team had to brainstorm, and this is the dynamic process because routes change. Now we have a carnival coming up like Christmas, which is called Durga Puja. So there'll be a lot of traffic obstructions in central city, just like London. You have the central cities closed. So we gone dynamically change the routes of the buses because certain roads are one way, certain roads are closed. So this is a dynamic process. We have 3 kinds of apps integrated with the main app PD, the driver app, the commuter app, and the crowdsourcing app. I'm going to explain this in the next slide. We have a passenger information system. It is simply a television which tells you when is the next bus coming. So that was done within the buses as well as on the different points. So you can imagine for a person who never knew when a bus is coming can now see which buses are coming and what are the timings. So this was a complete breakthrough. And I'm going to discuss especially about safety features because that is the theme of today. Next slide, please. Now, I'm going to discuss about our apps which have been integrated into PD. The first is driver app. So the first screen that you see on the right is the driver app. So the driver sees a start journey button. It's like Uber. He'll start his journey. Now this avoids potential bunching. Bunching means 3 buses going at the same time. We saw that buses left after half an hour, but one is driving at 80 kilometers an hour, one is driving at 50 kilometers an hour. So both of them land up at the station at the same time. Now the bunching can be avoided because the driver can see when his previous bus left, where it is the previous bus, and when is the next bus coming. So he can see the gap between the buses. So he can slow down if the earlier bus is a little slow. He can fasten up if the gap is going on. And this has also increased our revenue. I'll discuss this in the last. So input crowdedness has been controlled. We have been able to capture demand in real time. Now we come to the commuter app. So when you go to the bottom 2 pictures, these are the commuter apps. So the beautiful thing about our app is that you put a starting point, say XYZ, and a last point. It can give you a multimodal trip, like take the bus C20, then take the bus C30, then take A5. And remember, friends, it just doesn't give you one combination. It can give you 20 combinations. If there are 20 combinations from your source to destination, it will give you distance, time taken, expected time taken, and the combination of buses you can take and the stops that you will be using for that journey. So this was a revolutionary step. So people could choose the route they wanted to take. And this is helpful for tourists also because they want to go via a certain route. They can choose that and see. Real-time tracking with crowdedness, Jan. So what we did was, you can see on the top right, there are 3 buses, green, yellow, and red. So the driver as well as the passengers can actually click whether the bus is empty, so a green, it is mid crowded, a yellow, or it is fully crowded, a red. So that gives us a signal that, we need to send more buses on the route. So our supply management got really easy. And, people of Calcutta are really socially active and they really engage in the new developments. So we really got help from the people. They would, we could get feedback and we could, increase the buses or decrease the buses on the route accordingly. ETA, I've already told you, expected time of arrival. Capture the demand in real time, just like this with the green, yellow, and red. Ride sharing is very interesting. This increases the safety. So if you're traveling on our buses, Jan, now you're coming home, so you could simply share your ride with your mother and she would know where the bus is. So even if your phone is off, even if your battery is off, your mother can see where your bus is and she can actually go to the bus stop to pick you up, because all our buses are electronically monitored. This has really got us a lot of appreciation from parents, let me tell you. So I get emails and I got feedback from a lot of parents, because when kids are coming back from college, parents know that, okay, the bus is coming. So they can also go to Google and see where this bus is, just like a flight. It's very easy for them to understand. All right, 4 p.m. AC 36 is right now here. So I'm going to go out and, pick up my boy or girl. So this was really a well appreciated feature. The third thing was crowdsourcing app, Jan. So what we did was we got a lot of feedback from the people, community building sentiment. So what was there? We formed WhatsApp groups and we have a complaint group. So people can give us live feedback and they have a complete control room that tracks their input and does corrective action. Next slide, please. I'll quickly just focus on this, and this is the main slide. How exactly have we been able to give safety to people with our app? So first is ETA. Now you know that when your bus is expected, so you're in a safe position. Whether I should go, it's raining, there's some issue, you can plan your trip. You need not stand on the bus stop for an hour for the bus. All our buses have CCTV cameras, so we have all the recordings, so that adds security. We are planning an emergency button now. So this is the future, wherein if somebody presses a button, there will be a signal given in the control room and the police can be coordinated. At the moment we do this, that if any bus is standing for more than 10 minutes, we get a signal in the control room and the nearest police station and the depot manager can understand what is wrong. Why is the bus standing? Why is the bus not moving? Feedback I've told you, grievance I've told you, rash driving has gone down because now the drivers know they're being monitored. They will not get away with it. So if they are driving rash, they can be held accountable. Accidents have gone down. Driver accountability has gone up because now, the staff knows they're being watched. There is a big brother watching you. And ride sharing, I've already told you. Next slide, please. What have we got with this? How have we improved the relationship with people? The connect with the people. And now, people are moving from private buses to government buses. A lot of people want to take the government bus. So if a private bus is standing, a government bus is standing, they take the government bus. Even if the AC bus is more expensive than a non-AC private bus, they'll take the AC bus because they know they have to take it regularly on a certain time to their office. So they wait for that bus and they take that bus and, it's more like a relationship building. So they know the drivers, they know the conductors. It's more like a family feeling for them. Yep. Women and younger commuters are more assured. In fact, our statistics tell that more younger and women commuters are now using our transportation system. And we're using big data analytics. It's not a big word. We have a lot of data where World Bank helped us, ideation helped us, and we are always, thinking on what to do, how to improve, how do we reiterate to give a better experience to people. Next slide, please. So I am not just talking about theory. I'll just give you, this is my last slide, second last slide. Not just safety, what are the benefits we got with digitization? So Jan, you can just have a look. We rationalized our routes. All friends here, in fact. I'm sorry, I was talking to Jan, so it's more like a one-on-one dialogue. So we rationalized our routes and, in the city, we increased the routes. We could see we need to, also increase the routes here. The second statistic is important. We minimized the intentional breakdown through monitoring. A lot of times, the buses would slow down, people were lazy, they would not know that we are watching them. So we have been able to increase the kilometer run with the same staff, with the same buses, from 1.8 million kilometers a month to 2.5 million kilometers a month. Revenue, interestingly, has increased. So all my friends here, I could see Shelley from Canada, Ontario, and everybody else that we've been in touch with. The revenue is increased. So if you see, I don't have graphs like Juan. Juan did a beautiful presentation. Mine is a little, simple. So I don't have a graph, but this is quite an increase. This is almost 30% increase. From a $0.41 per kilometer, we've gone to 0.52. And this was only because bunching was avoided. So now the buses could go in a gap of say 10 minutes and we could get more people on the buses. Our costs came down because now we monitored the speed of the buses. So if somebody is over speeding, we could penalize the driver. And with optimum speed, our fuel consumption went down. So, our cost went down. So you can see before the technology, we were almost in a loss because I'm spending 39 units and earning 30, but now I'm spending 34 and earning 38. So from a red organization, I could move to a green organization with technology. Another interesting fact that you can see here is the number of passengers were about 0.25 million a day, which is now 0.35 million a day. So on a daily basis, we've been able to add 100,000 people. And this is not a joke. I mean, just imagine, it's almost a 40% increase. So I don't have maps to show, but a 40% increase in the number of people taking my buses every day. Next slide, please. This is the last slide. All I can say is Pathadisha, that is PD, Kolkata has loved it. We have 500,000 plus users. About 700 to 1,000 people are downloading it every day. We have 4,500 buses under the system. And now we're also using it in the Calcutta metro. So we have a metro just like the London Tube. And now we have we can book our tickets, our slots on the Kolkata metro as well. Metro has about 0.7 million, 700,000 people in the metro. And now they can also book the slots on our app. So that's it. Thank you. Next slide. Thank you. This is how we've been able to do it. My email ID is here. And anyway, I think we can clear the doubts later. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rajanvir. This was a great illustration on how you can improve via digital tools, how you can improve the customer experience, right? And not only for a couple of people, but for the whole population of Calcutta. This is a tremendous job. Actually, to be honest, Rajan, it was Ms. Raki Basu from the World Bank who referred us to you and say, this is an example you should get in these tools here.
We're thankful to her. She's a motivator to all of us. In fact, we are doing certain new things. We'll let you know. We are doing certain new. And let me also tell you that our corporation has been awarded by the IEA Paris this year, C40 last year, and all trying hard to improve. Yes.
More to come. Congratulations on that, Rajan. Let me ask you, is an example like this, right? Would it be possible for not a small or middle-sized private enterprise, but a bigger private enterprise? Can you give us an idea on the budget that has been spent on this tool, to create this tool?
Okay, so Jan, what I can do is I can get back to my technical team and probably send it to you by email, because ours is a government body, so I would not like to. But yes, we have our technology partners. Ideation is a technology partners for us. So I'll ask Sanjoy to get in touch with you. Maybe he has certain customized plans for the private organizations. It is not expensive because we in India have the best IT minds. And let me tell you, I would not want to tell you how much we have spent on our app because it was also sponsored by the World Bank. But I would certainly give you details via the person who helped us via email later. It's not expensive, I can tell you.
Right,
it's not
right. But you understand that it would be good to have this information and to make, let's say, the path to the implementation of such a tool for all bus companies.
I tell you, Jan, the simplest, for a business, like we're a government body, for us, profits are really not the first parameter. But you can understand if I'm able to increase my passengers from, 0.25 million to 0.35 million in a day, it's a huge change. And for a private organization, this can be a breakthrough. And on the cost, I'll get back to you. Certainly.
Okay, but in a country like India, I'm not talking only about Kolkata. Our bus route is in Bengaluru. We have experiences in Delhi and in Mumbai. There is a gap between the supply and the offer. At some parts of the day, buses are completely full. People don't know how to get on a bus. Now you're adding a tool that makes it even easier for people to use buses. You're raising the number of passengers. Your fleet has to follow that evolution, or doesn't the one influence the other?
So what happens is, Jan, we all know in the transport industry that the peak hours, like for India, for Calcutta, would be 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. So that's when people go to their workplace and people come back. So all our fleet has been actually planned in that way. So majority of our fleet is actually, concentrated in these two time zones. So they would be going as frequently as say 10 minutes or 5 minutes or 12 minutes. And at the other times, they would be going like 30 minutes or 35 minutes or 40 minutes. And that is how we save on the costs. And how has the technology helped us? The technology has helped us because, as I told you, we can dynamically come to know if the demand is going up or down, and we can support it simultaneously from a control room. So we have a 24/7 control room, Jan, where there's a team which sits and they monitor the entire thing on a dashboard and do this. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you so much, Rajan.
Thank you.
Really appreciate
Thank you for inviting. It was a pleasure being here. Yes.
Look forward to our next cooperation.
And my thanks again to World Bank team led by Raki and ideation of Sanjay and my dear Prantosh Deb, a part of my corporation who's helped me with this.
Okay.
Hans especially for all the coordination. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.